KSM Show.
I'm Veronica Bequin, the brain behind the Veronica Buckets and also Veronica's Aquariums. And I like watching KSM Show, and I encourage everybody not to miss KSM Show.
Thank you. We're back. I love that picture, man. One more time, take a look at the picture. Check it out. Yes. That was 1968. That was a long time ago. And today he's with us. And it's not that young man looking 1962. Now he's our minister, the Honorable Minister for Science and Technology. Put your hands together. Show some love for Professor Frimpong Boateng. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
It's good to have you here, man.
One more time.
Yeah, one more time. Thank you. The last time you were here, that was
I think 2001 or 2.
Yeah. Now you're Mr. Honorable Minister. Does it feel different now that you are?
Yes, in a sense that I have the privilege of representing the President in the Ministry of Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation. So it looks different, but I'm the same, but it is different.
Yeah, well, it would feel different. Let's. I remember years ago, when I wanted to talk to you, before you came for the interview, I came to talk to you, and you said, "Oh, me, I'm chilling, but I know somebody else you can talk to." And then you introduced Gideon Ajari. I don't know if you remember.
Yes, that's Gideon.
Yes, you had given him your Mercedes. He's very innovative.
Yes, that was around 2000 and so on.
Yeah.
Very young man. He was about 23, 24 at the time. Very innovative. And we were trying to build an electric car.
I remember.
So I gave him a Mercedes-Benz, which I bought in Germany in 1984 or so. So we removed the internal combustion engine and built an electric motor with and a DC motor as a prime mover. And so we built the motor and it worked, so the car was moving.
I remember because you told me, go and talk to that guy and say, you don't come and talk to me.
Yes.
And we actually took a ride in his car, the car.
Yes.
It was amazing.
Yes.
And I'm just saying this to lead to the question about innovation, science and technology. That has been your forte for ages.
Yes. It's because, without science, technology, and innovation, we will not be sitting here. I will not be able to do my work. And that is very important to us as human beings, because we are the only creatures that come to this world without a language and a culture. Language in the sense that if somebody is born in Accra to grandparents, and we take that child and take it to America, Azerbaijan, and so on. After 20 years, that child is not a Ghana. Or even here in Accra, somebody born in Jamestown, if he's taken to Mamobi to live with Hausa parents, after 20 years, you can't say so.
Yeah.
And a cow is a moo if it's born in Accra. If we take you to Germany for 20 years, it's still a moo. A cat is still a cat everywhere. And so, but we are different. And when I say we don't come to the world with a culture, not drumming and dancing, but the sum total of our behavior. So if the bees don't have to go to technical school or university to learn biochemistry or chemistry to do their honey. The rats will not go to a technical institution or tech to learn to build their motorways on the ground. But we as human beings have to learn to do everything that we have to do on earth. That's the difference, because we are not creatures of instinct. We come to this world without a language and the ability to do things.
So if I understand you, basically what you're saying.
What I'm saying is that it's education that will bring out the talent in us. Education, of several forms of education. So if we sit here and we have to import everything from toothpick to an aircraft, it means we don't know how to do those things. In other words, the form of education that we have crafted is not enough to enable us to do things for ourselves. And that is what I think should change. And it's changing.
Now, basically, you're suggesting that depending on the environment you are, is the environment that molds the individual, basically?
Yes, we have an innate talent, innate ability, but if you don't educate yourself to unearth that talent, you die with those talents. So the environment is very important.
I like the analogy you're making, like the bees don't have to study anything to learn how to produce honey. Neither does the rat have to go and study some technical thing to know how to do their motorways underground.
Or the birds building their nest.
Or how the birds build their nest. It's amazing how they weave the thing. It's something that they know. But with human beings,
we have to learn to do it.
We have to learn to do it.
Yes.
And what's the matter with us? We are not learning to do it?
No.
Or we don't understand that we need to learn it?
Yes. First of all, you need the material. And you need the ability, the knowledge and the skills to do that. And that's what you learn in school and also through various forms of education, either formal or informal. And that is lacking with us. And we see we are not a determined people. I mean, we are not determined to survive. We are competing with others for this space, crowded earth. And therefore, we need to put in a lot. And we believe that, and as the president says, we are in a fight. COVID-19 is a fight, and we cannot come out of it the same. So there are things that we have to do.
Well, let me take you back, because your forte has been cardio, heart, everything. You went to Germany, and you made some amazing headlines. Were you the first African to have done a transplant in Germany? Is that the story?
No, the story is that it was German who said, the researchers, they said the first time a black person had done a heart transplant since God created the world.
So it's not even an African. No. It was a black man. Yeah. And there's actually newspaper clippings about that.
Yes, that was in October 1985.
1985 October.
Yeah.
And you're the first black man
yeah.
to have done a heart. Is it transplant surgery?
Heart transplant, and then later on heart and lung transplant as a package.
Wow. And what I find amazing when I was going through some of your stuff is that there's a picture. There was also a news clipping of you with a 6-year-old little German child who needed a heart thing.
Yes, that was a young a boy, I think he was 5 or 6 at the time, had a heart transplant, and he came to the outpatient department for a checkup with the mother. So when he saw me, he just came to me, I took him and held him on my shoulder and then at my chest. And then the picture was taken.
Yes.
Then a few days later, it appeared in the newspapers. And
basically, it was saying that this African is going to transplant his heart?
The African is going to build a heart center in Germany. The African is giving development aid in theater and all sorts of things. So,
and I think for this one in particular, I was quite interesting that years later, how many years later you ran into him and took another picture with him?
That was in 1988. And then in 2006, when doing a workup in Germany, I was there to watch. I was invited by some friends. So we were in Hanover Stadium. That was where Ghana played Germany. It was a draw. And he heard that I was around. So he looked for me, and I was surprised to see him. So we took a picture. Yeah.
Wow. And so he had heard that you had done it, and all the time he was waiting to meet you eventually?
No, of course, he was too young. And then I left Germany after, I think that year, December, I left. So he didn't see much of me. But years later, he had finished his secondary school and was doing some internship at the library in our hospital there, the medical school. And my daughter was also in the school. They didn't know each other. So my daughter went to the library to borrow a book. But unfortunately, she left her ID card at home. And the boy said, no, the young man said, no, that's the law in Germany. You can't take it without ID card.
Without your ID.
Yeah, so I'm very sorry. Either I go back but this is my credit card or something. And he saw the name, Kwabena Frimpong Boateng. Then he bowed the head and said, Adjo, I'm very sorry. Take the book away. said, why? I said, yes, I was 6 years old when your father gave me a new heart. So
Wow.
We can take the picture, can take the book away. That was how we make it again.
Yeah. Going back up even further, you know, when were you going to the heart? You were working at as a doctor at the Kwabena.
Yes, after medical school, I did 1 year housemanship in Kolebu. Then I went to Kwabena as a medical officer, worked in pediatrics and obstetrics and gynecology. And then I left for Germany, yes.
When you were going, were you thinking moving from pediatrics and obstetrics to go into study heart?
No. When I was living in Ghana, I thought I was going to do orthopedics and traumatology. But when I went there and I met my boss, German boss, Professor Bost, who he did something that I never understood. First of all, I was supposed to learn the language, the German language. So I was in language school for 6 months. And then one day I got a letter to come for an interview to be admitted into the hospital, to do my postgraduate. And when I went there, I was the only person. There were no other candidates. I was wondering what was happening. So the chief invited me to his office and we're talking. And after 5 minutes, he said I should sit down, and he called all the other professors. There were about 9 of them. He is the chairman of the surgical faculty and also the director of the Cardiac Thoracic Center. So when they came, they said, oh, this is Dr. Frimpong Boateng from Ghana. He wants to work with us. I've talked to him. Do you have any questions? And they were startled. You know, nobody asked a question. And so I said, okay, you can go, you hear from us. A week later, I got a letter that I had been admitted to do my postgraduate there. And then the main interview took place after 2 weeks. And there were about 35 Germans or so. They took 8. And so we joined. And so years later, because this thing, I kept thinking about it. I went to his office and I said, Professor, why did you do that?
So nobody asked anything at all when they came?
He said, look, I was 17 years old when I was drafted into the war, the Second World War. He got injured. And after the war, the father sent him to Boston to do medicine. And he was in a university with a lot of Jews. And as a few, perhaps the only German there, he really had it tough. So he said, after that, in the future, if I had the opportunity to help minorities, people who are disadvantaged, I would do so. And that's why he did that. And in fact, in the university, he was the only person who engaged people from all over the world, Syrians, Turkish, Japanese, Chinese, and so on, other Africans. And he's a great personality. He's 92 and a half now. He lives on his farm in Germany.
Are you still in touch?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Wow.
He's been here before.
He
visited me, yeah. We went around and gave a lecture. Yes. So that's what happened.
Okay.
And so when he asked me what I wanted to do, I thought this is somebody who was prepared to protect me. And therefore I said, I'll stay with you in your department. That is heart surgery. That is why I decided to do heart surgery. But there were other remote reasons. Thinking back, when I was in elementary school, I had a friend called Kwabena. And he finished from 4, I think in 67 or so. And then he went to Kumasi to do shoemaking. And those days, the shoemakers had a board, a wooden board, which they put on their lap. And then they put the leather on the board and cut the leather with a very short, sharp knife. One day when he was working, the knife slipped and went into his groin and then cut the artery, the vessels in the groin. And so they took him to Kwabena. Those days, they did not have the right type of chooser to do that thing, and also the skills. It would take people, those who, if you know it, it would take you less than 15 minutes to fix that problem. In the end, it was not fixed, and the wound got infected, and he lost the limb. The leg was disarticulated at the hip joint. Ooh. So I thought about this. And then when we were in medical school in Kolebu, there was an advert about a little girl called Teresa, with a hole in her heart. In those days, people were solicited for money, and when they got enough, the girl was sent out, or the patient was sent out for surgery. Unfortunately, Teresa died before they got enough money to send her, and this might have been in the 70s. And all these things were ringing in my mind. And I was also thinking about my own father, who died in a road traffic accident at the age of 24, even before I was born. I mean, my first child, I was 24? My mother's womb. My mother's womb. He died, and 4 months later I was born. And then from the accounts, he was traveling from Bibiani to Kumasi, and there was an accident, and he had a chest injury. So he was taken to Bibiani Hospital. He could talk, but died the next day from internal bleeding. And this is something that a chest surgeon, a heart surgeon, can fix within 5 minutes. So I said, well, let me do cardiothoracic vascular surgery so that I'll be able to help in some of these injuries, so that children will not have to lose their dads at 24 years or lose their friend because of some flimsy injury and so on, or save little children. But then the difficulty was that there was nothing home to come to, in terms of infrastructure, training, and so on. That is why, from the very beginning, from 1981, I decided to think about how to set up a cardiothoracic center in Germany. I saved my money and started buying used equipment, which I got from the hospital, and supplies. So my house was full of equipment. And so when I was coming back home, I did not buy a chair or even a fridge for myself.
So your whole intention was to set up the cardio center?
Cardio center, yeah. And so, because another reason was that, you remember Professor Eastman, Charles Eastman, Professor Eastman, he performed the first heart surgery in Ghana in 1964. And those days, they did not have the technology that we have now. Those days, you had to work under very difficult conditions. Let's say a child with hole in heart. You have to put the child to sleep, anesthetize, then put the child in a bath with ice, drop the temperature to about 32 degrees, and then quickly bring the child to the operating table, open the chest, open the heart, and try to fix whatever you want to fix within 15 minutes. It has to be done very fast, otherwise you lose the patient. He did 2 cases. One of them survived, the other one did not. So he had to stop. And I said to myself, Eastman stopped around 64, 65, and since then, we've not had a true heart center. And so,
just let me go through the process again. You put the kid through anesthesia, put them in ice?
No, just a bath.
Oh, a bath?
A bath.
Full of ice?
Yeah, and then you put the ice around the patient and so on to cool down. Because we have different methods of doing that now. And so I said that, well, Eastman left, it was 30 years before. And with my knowledge, attitude, and skills, if I did not do it now, and I stayed in Germany, it might take another 30 years, 50 years, or 100 years before another person with similar attitude, skills, and so on, the attitude and love for the nation and people to come on the scene, or it may not even happen at all. And I also knew that the laws were changing in Europe. The chance that I got, it was almost at the same end. You couldn't go there and do what I did. And so there was a need for us to establish a center in Ghana that to serve us and the West African and African region. So that was the idea behind it.
It's fantastic. And actually, so you came back to Ghana to set it up?
Yes.
And I've heard stories about how sometimes at the port, you operated the forklift to get out your equipment. Oh, no. Was that, and then the building of the...
Yeah, because I had to, I had to acquire higher licenses, professional licenses, so that I could drive a truck from Kolebu to Tema to bring the equipment from the harbor And also,
so you did it yourself?
Yes, got a forklift, and I was operating a forklift, and also got some friends, Engineer Dankwa of McDonald's, very important friend. I gave them the sketch, told them how I wanted the hospital to be, so they drew the architectural drawings and also the structural ones, and I got some laborers from around, Kolegono. Those days, TSEC had laid off some workers, so I got them together. And without a foreman and so on, and Posamoa and the rest, we organized ourselves and put up the structure without one city contribution from government. So that is how the Cardiothoracic Center came to be. The government didn't spend one city there. And fortunately, the German government gave us surprise credit to buy the equipment. And it was installed by Hospital Engineering Limited, and they did a very good job. And I think the whole thing was about 12 million or so Dutchmark those days. But part of it went to renovation of the main surgical theater. So this is how the Cardiothoracic Center came to be.
Show some love, man. I mean, the level of dedication is amazing. We're going to take a short commercial break. When we come back, we'll talk about that center, putting it up, what it was before, what it is now, and then we'll take it from there. Stick around, we'll be right back. Folks, we are hanging out with Professor Frimpong Boateng. If you've been to the Cardiothoracic Center, he is the brain behind it. When we come back, there's a story to tell before we do our interview. Stick around, we'll be right back.
The KSM Show.
Therefore, say whoop wine and sata, me pacho pee. Man family wine. I'm ranting me and sa wumu free Stellenbeck, South Africa ye nature wine. Red wine I would only be any Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot and a Syrah. White wine and so ebony Chardonnay and Chanel Blanc. Whoopesa will enjoy wine ya. Me pacho pee. White wine no 7 ice cold and a red wine and so maninya cool kakra. Wo pache de be dia mo penny beer. Man family wine. Wo ye party and a yen soa. And ma rain free man family wine. Artist option was Spintex Road in Crankwa. And a sole distributor ewo Ghana. At to phone for 020-811-0618 059-261-1618 and now 020-816-1601. Man family wine. Obia see ye. Nom ni nyansemu. Wonton many pa winning fear do moche. And sesa penfo num bie. FDA ashisha sa ejedi enkrato imachia to mu se eye.
Se say ye di bibia ba edwaso so bi be toka wa ha na ye koto battery from enkrankra bebre near the babesi bi wa battery na fine ye enti ye adwen say was yetimi locate battery papa na ye ton ema ye customers na fe ye magana fo so timi nya battery papa yusu ti nyame aye yadom am ye timi locate speed made batteries are from Korea. One of the best battery company in the world. Na se say ye de abadwaso enti wo pe battery atosi u car so we di si generator so anase trotro anase ubafo ya muhia battery wo pe so ye wholesale crown bra ye tu ema na so akokoton no nya so mfaso obi biara mra erata motors ebetu use battery more than afi enti bo modern ne bra be top battery papa I speed mate na muaw enti say de ye de asem papa na aba amagana.